Hello, ladies and gentlemen, whoever might be out there, Jazz. Thanks for the host. Super appreciated. So, we are at the end of another week. Um, Surprisingly, despite thinking that we were going to lose that final round, we actually did win. We'll go into some in depths as to why, but it is an example of defense winning it for you. We did lose round two, so we didn't go undefeated, but we are 5-1 so far, well on our way to Kyber, and yeah, it should be good. We've got some interesting results here. I don't have Moon with me here today, so we're just going to be winging it by ourselves. Thank you for everyone who's decided to join us here today. So to get started, we are going to just go ahead and play the video of setting the first defense that we've got here. So let's get that off, and I'm gonna shut up, and we're gonna watch old me talk.
Alright, so after I finished recording this, I realized that I had not turned my mic on, so now I'm doing voiceover. Anyways, we're going to be setting our defense here. I started with ships. Ships don't matter, really. I've got the two best fleets, so I put my weaker of the two fleets on defense. That's always fun. So we'll go through and we'll do that. For the rest of it, what I tried to do was mix it up. Now we're going to start tailoring our defense to the enemy. The main differences here for this round, I completely changed it up just in case they try to scout me. So they see what I've done in the past, and now they're going to get a completely different look. The main differences that I put in here is going to be my separatist teams. I created 4 completely new teams out of what was there before. We'll show it right there as a Newt B1, B2. I'm talking about precisely this right now in the video. We're also switched up our clones to kind of mirror what Moon had tried. So we went 5's lead. We've got our Grievous Watt Magna. We've got Geos with Droidica, and then we have just leftovers here under a Dooku lead. I don't know how well that's going to do, but we'll see. We will see. Those 3 teams remain the same. The Night Sisters are mostly the same. Obviously, we don't have Watt there with the Asajj zombie, even though it worked really well. I'm trying to try out some different things. The idea here with Talia is just that if you try to control zombie with the buff immunity or anything like that, she'll be able to maybe cleanse it off and make that just a little more annoying. But for the most part, we'll see how this goes. Um, and here in a moment, I'm just going to run through and set them all. Um, yeah, that's about it. There's not a whole lot to say other than at this point in the game, I am going to try to start tailoring my defense towards the enemy. In this case, he has a Gear 11 General Skywalker, and his Synth Empire is mostly Gear 12 and a lot slower than mine. So, one thing I'm going to try and do here, I placed my Sith Empire team on defense because I'm a lot faster. I've got a relic advantage over his Gear 12, and the hope here is that he just can't break it. Again, he doesn't have gas. He doesn't have his Sith Empire. So we'll see what he can do with it. Maybe he can use his Padme. Um, Maybe he's got some sort of Jedi Knight Revan counter for it. Although in the past, those are 2 teams that he has put on defense. So the one place where I am a little worried, it does take out a solo potential with Malak on offense, and then it's obviously it's borrowing from my offense. So we'll see how that goes. But between those 2 teams right there, that's the meat and potatoes of my defense. And if he can't get through that, then we stop him with the front row. and it's game over. And we should be able to clear at least that much on offense because we do have still a lot saved for offense, but obviously not as much as if we saved for Malik solo and everything. But we still have a Nest solo, we still have a Gas solo, we still have the rest of our offensive meta teams that we had last time. And then we'll also have bounty hunters, although obviously that's not going to take out a top tier team, but it could take out something like a cheap Night Sister team or something like that. So we will see how that goes. All right. Back to you, Future Hutch.
Pre-recorded content is so great. So that was the thought process heading into round one. Fortunately, by and large, I do feel like it was pretty successful. We'll take a look here and get into the in-depths going on how it went. You can see we won. You'll remember my attacks if you watched my stream. And then he only got 1550. I'm trying to remember. I think he actually went before us, so we already knew what he had hit and the walls that he had hit. So the first thing he did was take the good old trio versus Geos with Droidica. I was kind of hoping that maybe Droidica in there would stumble some of the plans, but you can see here that they did pretty well. They did better with this than what was happening in the first bracket when we had GB under a Newt lead. Um, Ultimately, the same amount of banners, but I feel like not a whole lot of difference here. So one way or another, they used Traya. They had lost 3 banners and called it a day and moved on. They ran into some serious problems with my Darth Revan team here, as we were hoping that they would. The idea here being that our Darth Revan was faster, our Bastila Shan Fallen was faster, so they wouldn't be able to just like straight mirror match it. The first thing they tried was taking Shaak Ti clones. That obviously didn't go real well for them. They did manage to get some protection down. The next thing they tried to take was General Anakin Skywalker. I'm really interested to see that this failed. Um, that's good news in my opinion, and that's definitely something to take going forward. If my Darth Revan team is strong enough to beat these things, there's a strong consideration to keep putting them on defense, at least whenever I know that I'm going to need some defensive muscle. So after 2 failed attempts, it looks like he moved over to my Grievous team. This time we tried putting Watt in there to see how that would go. He mirror matched it, Grievous on Grievous. He brought Droidica. We killed Droidica, but the other 2 still managed to win. So that's interesting to note. I don't mind. He lost 3 banners here. He lost 1 banner there. So pretty good banner wise. I still feel like there's better uses for Watt. We'll take a look further into that a little bit later on. So the next thing he does is come back and he uses his Darth Revan and his Malak against my remaining Darth Revan and Malak, and he also brought HK. My Malak was still beefy enough to beat him, so that was cool. And then the last thing that he did to take out my Malak was apparently use Thrawn EP and then Imperial Probe Droid. Clearly, based on this, I'm guessing he worked on him a little bit. The shocks would have prevented Malak from healing. The fracture would have held him in place, and then he just exploded on his face to take him out. So after 3 failed battles, on the 4th battle, he also sacrificed 4 additional banners. That is an absolute win. Like my Darth Revan team definitely ate a lot of resources there. All of his clones, Shaak Ti, General Skywalker, Darth Revan, and Empire with Thrawn. That was expensive to take down for him, and definitely I could see it leading to his ultimate demise. The next thing was this clones team that we kind of stole from Moon to see how it works for us. Not happy with this at all. The fact that Phoenix was able to beat it. Now, the flip side to that is it did cost them, 3 banners here, 1 banner there, 1 banner there. That actually might be enough to cost 2 banners. I'm not sure, but 5, 6 banners, not bad. But the fact that, and to his credit, his Phoenix were Relic 4, I believe, so they were strong, but you know, clones are a higher tier of team, and he's beating them up with scraps, but high relic scraps. Like he has invested in his Phoenix, and you don't usually see that. So something to consider. Not very good for banners. Definitely not going to sit here and recommend everybody go and level up their Phoenix. So then he started struggling against Night Sisters, which is always great to see. He tried to take his CLS against my Mother Talzin team, and he tried just some leftover Jedi against Asajj. I don't know why he thought that would ever work. There's no AoE on this team. There's no way that team is ever going to win. You can see here there's no protection loss on either of them. Zombie just taunts it the entire time. I don't know why he thought that would win. And then for my nuke team, this time trying to buddy him up with some droids, he took his own nuke team. He brought in a droid, tank, and Dooku. He was able to win. Clearly, it cost him 3 banners. Not a bad trade-off. We'll have to take a further in-depth look with all of our Separatist teams to see which were more effective. But I'm not upset with these results. That's not terrible. Then he struggled, if you recall. He struggled a lot with First Order on the back line. The first thing he did was try to take Rey against my First Order team and failed. That's always good to see because typically Rey is a good counter, but in 3v3 she's not as good a counter as we see here. Then he tried to take troopers against my Hux team. I'm going to assume that he didn't outspeed this team, so he wasn't able to get a quick kill off, get the turn meter train rolling, and then it probably just went poorly for him after that. Next, he tried Nest. I don't remember how strong his Nest was, but I'm kind of surprised because this team doesn't have any stuns, and it doesn't have any sort of control or anything, and it doesn't really have big damage. So I'm guessing he must not have had a very strong Nest. Hey, Spacebar, how's it going? How are you doing? Glad to see you here. I'll give you some emotes back. But yeah, a little surprised to see that because I would have figured if you have at all a decent Nest, this should have one. Obviously, he took out one, but then he couldn't take out the others. Interesting. And then he did manage to take him out with just some Rogue One. Just kind of funny. That Nest, which I would consider better than Rogue One. Nest failed, Rogue One beat it. I'm not sure how strong his Rogue One was. Obviously, it was good enough. And then he takes his Night Sisters against our Clone War Chewie. He won. He lost a bunch of banners. That's not a great trade-off. Night Sisters are a much better team than this junk that I put on defense. So to trade down into that and lose 3 banners, not great. Hey, Cracker, how you doing? And then against just like our leftover down here, he actually went in with a pretty strong team. Vader, Darkseid Bastila, and Mara. I don't know how strong his Mara is, but that's not a terrible team. There's not a whole lot of synergy with the Vader lead, because Vader lead is basically just like stacking dots, damage over time, and that's not something that these two do, but I mean, it got the job done. It was a leadership. This isn't that strong of a team. He tried one last time against First Order and failed. He tried to take some Ewoks and just quit. He never made it through that team. So all in all, our defense definitely held. It was a good matchup for us. We went in there with a plan. Hey, we've got these assets that he's missing. Oh, that's true. His gas was Gear 11. But yeah, like we went in there knowing, hey, we've got these assets over him. Let's go ahead, deploy him on defense, use them, stop him. We got the full clear. He didn't. Easy win in the books. All right, so let's go ahead into round two. Pull up round two.
Oops.
And we'll switch over to that. And I will disappear while this plays.
Oops. I did it again. So this time, I had the microphone. You can see it there. I turned it on. I forgot to change the source within my recording software. So great. Anyways, this matchup, we had to do some things differently because we're going up against Ice Demon here. And he has a Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. This will be our first Galactic Legends that we face off against, so that definitely changes how I have to go about setting my defense because I have to take that into account. I was strongly debating whether to just go fully defense, throw everything I have on defense just to screw with his banners, or if there's any hope or any prayer of beating him. We'll pull up his stats here. He has pretty low health. He has okay speed, and he has okay offense. And so I was looking at a bunch of videos, having some guildmates help me find some information on how to do it, and it does seem like there is some hope here by using General Anakin Skywalker, fives, and a buddy, and hopefully we'll be able to stop fighting. Cats are fighting. Hopefully we'll be able to get through that. If we don't, it'll be a short fight. Even if we get through that, though, there's still he has a really rough roster. So even without Kylo Ren, you can see it here. He has a strong roster. He can set a really strong defense. So we had to bring extra ammunition to the fight. So we'll see it here in a moment. I had to go a little bit lighter on defense. Um, I'll wait until I pull it up here. I really need to quit recording first thing in the morning when I am super sleepy and not paying attention because we get voiceovers like this. Again, I'm still putting this fleet on defense. It's my weaker of the two fleets. I should probably quit recording this part. It's not exciting. But we'll get into it here. Had to make a few changes, obviously. So we are going to go weaker. I don't remember what I was saying here. This is terrible. 10/10 content right here. This is why you come to my channel for the garbage commentary and awful streamer skills. Yep. Don't remember what I was saying. Alright, so one of the things that was pointed out to me is that Spirit is typically better under an Asajj lead for the bonus offense. So I did swap out Spirit and Talia there. Otherwise, the Separatist teams are all remaining the same. I want to collect more data on that, and then once both of these first two brackets are done, I can take a look at all of the Separatist teams that we set and see which ones did the best, and factor that going forward. Nothing else changed down here, other than we put First Order is going to be on the front line now. We brought Bounty Hunters back, which is a team that I have fallen out of love with because it's too easy for Gas to solo that. That's what I've been doing, anyways, on offense. So I'll stick it in the back. Maybe they'll run out of resources by the time they get to it. Maybe not. Who knows? I don't remember why I went back down there to circle it again. But I'm sure I had a brilliant point. I also put Karth back in here. This is probably our weakest team on there. And then I'm just going to sit here and place these teams after talking about them. The Karth team allows for Malik solo possibilities, so I don't love it either. But, I mean, you got to do what you got to do when you got to save everything that you can for offense. So Separatists will have to hold the line for us. And I don't think that they will. I feel like he's going to walk right over this defense. But again, what really is going to matter is if we can get past that Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, which you already know the answer to that. I don't. I'm in the past. Y'all are in the future. Be sure to follow me on Twitch. Catch all the action live because that is the best time to do it. Otherwise, I do take all of these Galaxy of Heroes videos and upload them over to YouTube. I'm Army Hutchings on Twitch. I'm Army Hutchings on YouTube. I'm Army Hutchings on Twitter. Follow me everywhere, and let's do this thing, man. Let's get as strong a defenses as we can while having what we need for offense. That's the name of the game. Balance, no wasted resources. See y'all later.
All right.
All right.
So that was
So
this
super
time fun. Spoiler
This
alert.
time I
It's not really
checked
spoiler
before I
alert
left,
if you joined me
even
on
though I
stream,
just woke
but
up.
spoiler
Just like
alert.
the last two times.
Did
However,
not win. We were
First time
not
I know
able
I'm
to get
recording.
through his
so here we are.
galactic leader, which is fine. If you invest that many resources into a galactic leader, you definitely deserve to have a strong shot at winning. I feel like our defense didn't do too poorly. We got the full clear, or he got the full clear, of course, but like we've scored higher than that before. He scored higher than that before. So let's go ahead and just take a look at how he did. The first thing he did was go in against our Grievous team with Watt, and he used his General Skywalker. Strong play, General Skywalker in 5v5 counters the Grievous with Watt team, so it makes sense that it would also do so here. I like the fact that we prevented a General Skywalker solo. As you know, if you watch my streams, I like to use a General Skywalker solo to maximize banners on offense. But even so, he only lost one banner in this fight. Not really what you want from your top tier defense team. We'll take a closer look here in a bit, but there's probably better options for Watt. He hammered straight through the Night Sisters, both Night Sisters teams. This one I would say is probably the harder one. He just took Jedi Knight Revan, which is a great call. Jedi Knight Revan definitely hard counters this team. He's able to just knock them off one by one, whichever order he wants. He can mark to go around the taunt, and yeah, so he just had his way there. And then again, we have Traya, the trio, against my Bugs. Knocks off 3 banners. That seems to be a very consistent theme. Bugs counter with Traya and lose 3 banners. I do the same thing on offense. It's basically like clockwork. We're trying different things to see if there's any sort of monkey wrenches we can throw into the program to trip something up. So far, this isn't it. It might revolve around getting Spy to higher relic levels. I don't know. We can't do that right now, so we won't really know. And then against the other Night Sister team, he actually used a Darth Revan. Again, very expensive counters, and he definitely was not messing around. He went hard counters all the way. I do like that it looks like we knocked off some extra banners here. I don't know if this would have been enough protection, but if it was, then we knocked off 5 banners. And if you can knock off 5 banners with a team that is, in my opinion, a lower tier team than what he used to clear it, kind of a net win. And then it looks like he stumbled against our Newt with Droids team using Padme, which is surprising. I would have thought that this would have been able to handle this. I'm not sure, how he played it, but the only thing that I could see is B2 knocking off the bonus protection. But I don't know. I feel like this team should have just managed to take care of business. I'm not sure how strong his Padme team is, so maybe it just wasn't all that great. And then he took a second battle. He won that battle, but look, it cost him 6 banners. Sunshine said she's never gonna say hi to you, Peppy Hands. That's fine. I mean, she did ban me in her channel, so turnabout's fair play, right? Hey, Rance, how you doing? This is great. So it gets a hold, and then it drives down 6 banners. That right there is something that's very noteworthy. I'm definitely going to look into this compared to how other separatist teams have done. But that's a good show. I like that. Again, as we were saying earlier, Rey hard counters Kylo Ren typically. You'll note that he's got Finn in there instead of R2 like the other guy had. But that's a good call. Max banners, good, well done. We had to go lighter on defense, so we had this weaker thing in there. He was able to clear it with CLS, no problems again. Much stronger team going into a much weaker team. We see that almost throughout all of this. This is the one place where he kind of stumbled. Ships on ships, that's never really a problem. And then he used Night Sisters up against Hux. That seemed a good call. I don't know how strong his Night Sisters was, but given the protection that's left on these guys, clearly Plague from Mother Talzin did its work, which makes sense. And then he just hard countered Bounty Hunters here with Thrawn and an EP team. That's a really strong team that's going to hard counter that all day long. And then he used a Wampa special against our leftovers. They didn't seem to do much at all. Probably not going to look to use this team in the future, because that's 2 showings now where they just didn't do anything. And then Bounty Hunters against our little weird ass team here. Not a problem at all. The nice thing about Ice Demon, so I message all of my opponents after every match, and I just kind of like, hey, great match, well done. I try to find a few things about their roster that's really good. Obviously, this guy I complimented his Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. That's an obvious one to compliment, since that's like a top tier team these days. So definitely like reach out. Hey, I streamed your defenses. If you'd like to see how they are, you can follow me on Twitch. You can go over to my YouTube channel. I upload all of the stuff over on YouTube. And he replied back, and he was really cool about it. Very professional, very gracious winner, which I think is rare online, but not necessarily rare in this type of community. And we've gotten to talking a little bit, and he went on. I figured he was going to be a shoe-in for the championship, 3-0, baby done. He was the only one with a Galactic Legends in our bracket. He actually didn't win, and he came to me like wondering like what the other guy could have possibly have done to beat his Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. So I said, I'll look at it when I'm doing my segment. So I pulled it up over here. This is the match. He lost it based on banner efficiency. They both got full clears, it looks like. But it looks like the other guy cleared more efficiently. He started with the top. He started with the same thing that I had tried using gas. That failed, but it killed Hux. About the same on here that we saw with ours. Then he went in with Darth Revan. This is what we didn't try when I was doing it, because we kind of, I guess, talked ourselves out of it being a possibility. But it does look like if you use gas, then you can follow up with Darth Revan and clear a Supreme Leader Kylo Ren Malak combo in 3v3. This person's done it. I don't know that that's to say that ours would have been. This is not an indication that it would be a consistent counter, but it was done at least once. So it is something that we could try if we ever find ourselves in this situation again. And killed it pretty quickly too. So pretty interesting. It looks like probably Malik did a lot of tanking since he's dead, and the others both have decent protection on them. They probably controlled Malik using fear. You can't fear Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. I don't know what the kill order was. It might have been Malik since he was so low. Get some shocks on there, kill Malik off real quick, and then probably just put it on auto. Would be my guess. So we looked into that. It looks legit. It's good to note going forward. So that's how our defense did against him. And we're clicking on ads because this website has ads everywhere. So we lost. It's fine. Not the end of the world. Again, you meet cool people. I still count it as a win. We've been talking on Discord. The great guy. So let's go ahead and take a look here at how round 3 went.
All right.
And I'm going to put it up on screen. And I'll disappear for a bit.
All right. So this time I checked before I left, even though I just woke up. It's like the last 2 times. However, this time I know I'm recording. So here we are, round 3. Round 2 didn't go so well for us. That Supreme Leader Kylo Ren was a bit too much for us. If you missed that stream, be sure to check the VOD. Be sure to check YouTube. I upload to both places. I make it highlights on Twitch, so it'll always be there. Round 3, we're going to go up against Dr. Moto. He is the general of the 501st. He's got a pretty stout roster. It's very reminiscent of our round 1 opponent, so we're going to set a very similar defense. He's going after Galactic Legend Rey, but he doesn't have her yet, so hopefully we'll be able to take advantage of all of that galactic power bloat, since so much of his galactic power is invested there. He does have a strong Sky Guy and a pretty strong Sith Empire. However, we are faster, so we're going to try and pretty much use the same strategy that we used against Cuddly Kitsune. If you remember, it went pretty well in round 1. We got them stopped. So we're going to pretty much just stick to the same schedule. I already placed fleet this time, so we don't have to waste time there. So we'll go over here to the plan. And the plan is pretty much the same. We're going to try this out one more time. We kept the switch out here. It's what I've been told is better. We'll see. We'll check the data here in a few moments. Well, y'all will. I won't. I'll have to wait a little bit longer. And then we'll stick to the same for Separatist teams. We're going to try to stick this on here. It costs me a solo potential here, but I believe the benefits to defense should be worth it. Because he's either going to have to burn his Sky Guy here or here. His Grandmaster Yoda is still gear 12, so I think he will have to go pretty hard against that. And he'll have to go pretty hard against that. Now, maybe he uses his General Skywalker here, and then maybe he uses his Sith Empire here. I think that would probably be the best strategy on his part, but, you know, that would just be my guess. So we'll see what happens here. In a moment here, we'll be talking about the Separatist teams. We'll be figuring out which worked best, which ones didn't. And then I'll be looking at all of it collectively over the last defense and review to this one and try and see if we can figure out which are the best setups for your Separatists if you're looking to use them on defense. Now, I know there's a few other setups that we can do. Probably next round I might try sticking Watt with GBA and Spy to see how that does. And then we'll see what we have left for configurations with the other ones. Maybe I try to beef up something under a Dooku lead, see how that works. Um, we still have a few ideas, and we'll just have to see how it goes. But that's my defense here. It's nothing fancy. It's pretty much a repeat of what we did in round one, and hopefully it's just as effective as it was then. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, and back to you, Future Hutch.
All right, so after I finished recording this, I realized that I had not turned my mic on, so now I'm doing voiceover. Anyways, we're going to be...
I don't know why it started playing again. For anybody who remembers, at the end of that stream, on offense, we actually stumbled. We underestimated his Bastila team, and we couldn't full clear. I was convinced that he was going to just easily wipe out my defense. I was convinced that I was going to lose. In my message to him, I actually congratulated him on the win. As it turns out, he had problems when he went up to bat. And when I messaged him, he entered the room. He didn't say anything. He didn't do any attacks. Several hours later, he left the room, still hadn't done any attacks, and he waited till the last minute to finally attack. Kind of rude. Like, would have been nice for you to hop in and, like, say something, but it happens. Anyways, so he got started, and he cleared our GG Watt team with the Padme team. Makes sense. Seems solid. Lost some banners. No big deal. All 3 rounds, it seemed pretty easy to just use something pretty hard to go up against this and clear it. So I do feel like there's a better use for Watt rather than this team. We'll go back and re-review the first bracket to see how we liked what we did with Grievous there, see if there's anything better here, or see if there's something else that we can do going forward. He also stumbled here against Darth Revan. This time, it was an R7, a fully relicked, fully powered General Skywalker who failed. It looks like he managed to get Malik down, which was a big boost for him. But then he came back around, used his mirror match here, minus my Malik. Obviously, that would have been no problems. It looks like I did cost him several banners, though. Plus, you're using the 2 strongest teams that you've got to clear one team. Definitely a win. Definitely played a factor into why he lost. And then again, Geos, Traya. He only lost 2 banners here. We've seen that what I was using last time worked better, but not much better. So up, down, Geos. Trying to figure out a way to utilize these guys to be better. I don't think it's going to be able to counter a Traya team without a relict spy. And then I guess my Droideka is not that strong either. If they were both relict, it might be a different story. And then again, Jedi Training Ray, First Order, should be an automatic win. I don't know what happened in round 1. Maybe his characters just weren't up to snuff. Then he took out Hux with these leftover resistance teams. Didn't even have a lead. I don't know how strong they were, but they were probably relict. Mine aren't. He probably just straight damage. Straight damage to overpower them. And then here's Newt, once again, doing good things. Killed Han. So there's 3 banners lost there. And lost protection on both of these, and they couldn't recover by the end of the match. So that's 5 banners. Like, I like this team. This team, yeah, it did good work, I'd say, in all 3 rounds. That might be one that we definitely keep around a little bit more. Keep working on it. Jedi Knight Revan, hard counters, Night Sisters. It'll have the tenacity up and all that good stuff. A lot of healing. So not surprising there. I would call that an expensive counter to Night Sisters. And then he tried to sort of mirror match and failed here. I don't know how strong his Night Sisters were, but obviously they were not up to the task. So pretty cool there. And you remember, like, he got through that one, and then it was just kind of go, 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 go until he hit this. And I think this is where everything started to sort of collapse for him. He overpowered that Dooku team. Again, that Dooku team hadn't done anything. So I'm not going to use that again. I'm not too surprised that it didn't do anything. I think there might be something better that we can do with Dooku. Maybe he could do something with the Geos to make that work. I don't know. We'll have to play around and figure out maybe something better there. It didn't do anything. Obviously, it didn't slow these guys down at all. He used Karth team against the Clone Wars Chewie team, and he timed out, which I find that funny. Clearly, he couldn't get around the taunts. Is what it kind of looks like here. He was trying to use probably their AoEs, but their AoEs just aren't strong enough. So he got knocked up there. He wound up having to use Nest and Wampa to clear that team, and then he was just done. At that point, he didn't have anything left in the tank. He never came back to revisit this Night Sister team, and then he never even bothered trying to touch my clones. So, all in all, pretty interesting results, I think. Figured we would lose that one. We wound up not losing it because this just goes to show you defense can win these things for you. If you set the right defenses, they can definitely hold the line for you. For sure. So kind of the last thing that I wanted to do here would be to go over, now that we've got 2 rounds of data here, now that we have 2 rounds of data, what do you do with it? So what I like to do is come in here and kind of talk about the teams that we've seen, kind of see how they do. I use this ultra high-tech notepad, and we're just going to kind of go back and we're going to look at all of these teams and ultimately how they did. Banner-wise, how they did with holds. I'm going to start with this Nuke team because I think it did some good work for us. So Nuke, B1, B2, got, 5 banners? So 5 banners in that match. And then in round 2, it actually held 1 hold and 6 banners. 1 hold plus 6 banners, and then in round 1, it did looks like 3 banners. So not bad. Definitely interesting in rounds 2 and 3. So pretty good. Next one that I'll throw down here is our GG Watt team. Here it took 5 banners, which isn't bad. In round 2, 1. 1 banner, which is terrible. And then in round 3, it took 3 banners. That's not terrible, but like you can already see between the 2 of these, this team performed better. It drew more banners more consistently. Mostly just on the strength of this one performance, though, because 5 banners, 5 banners, 3 banners, 3 banners. But this time it got a hold plus bled 6 banners after that. So maybe this didn't do as bad as I was initially thinking going through here, but then again, not all that great either. We already know that going GBA, Spy, and Droideka, it got, 3, 3, and 2, right? Yeah, so 3 there. 3 there, and then 2 2 on this one. So 3, 3, and 2, which is fine. The problem is that seems to be what it's going to do. But again, it takes out Treya, so he doesn't have Treya for something else, and it still bleeds a good 3 banners, so that's not the worst thing in the world. And then the last team here that we tried was just a kind of a throwaway with Dooku, Sunfac, and Soldier. We weren't really expecting it to do much. It lived up to our expectations. It was always one of the last teams that people used, and it just didn't do much of anything. Which is not what you want in those kind of bottom rung teams. Like, you still want something that's going to bleed banners all up and down your defense. So this team, I would say, not a good candidate going forward. We'll probably never use this team again. Because you can see they're 2, 0, and 0. So that was our Separatist teams this time around. I just want to take a look back at how our Separatist teams did the first go around. Of course, the first guy didn't really go through much. But I guess he did a couple of them. So he did do a GGB1 Magna, which I don't even know if that would have counted 1 banner off. But for the sake of it, let's go ahead and give it that 1 banner. And then we'll go here. Here it drew 4 banners, which that's not bad. 4 banners there, and then against Pizza the Hut, it bled 3 banners and took a really strong team with it. So you can just see between here and here, technically this did 1 better. But pretty similar, I would say. So now let's go back, and the only other team that he even tried against was this one. I am going to throw this down here, even though we're looking at Separatists, because 1, this is where I stuck Watt, and then technically Asajj is 1 as well. But since we're really wanting to hone in, because for me, the backbone of my defense is Separatists, so I want to be able to put in the strongest that I can here. It was 1 hold, and they never tried again. But it's still worth noting, the 1 hold. Here, it was countered with CLS, and only bled 1 banner. So that's not great, but CLS, I could see how CLS is going to hard counter that, because it's got the buff block, he can get around taunts, they can focus down Watt right off the bat, so Watt can't get his tech out. I could see that team really working there, and it took out a strong team to take it. And then the second team, so this is fun because I actually don't remember these battles at all. So there's 1 hold, which was a timeout, 2 holds, and that's when they finally got Watt down. 2 holds and they didn't kill him? No, you did full clear. Oh, here we go. And then kill him with that. So 2 holds, but 0 banners when they finally did kill it. But the 2 holds, obviously, that's going to be the meat and potatoes of that. So far, that team definitely performed the strongest. I just noticed what time it is. We need to do our arena climbs. So we'll start bringing this up. While that is loading, we'll go figure out what the next Separatist team was. So, okay, so that's done with round 1. Unfortunately, we're not going to get any more data from round 1. Kind of sucks. Okay, so Newt, Dooku, GPA. So Newt, Dooku, GPA. 3 banners. And then in round 2, it did another. Where are you? 3 banners. And you see it left no protection on these guys. Whereas when it was GPA Spy and Droideka, it was leaving banners on there. Or leaving protection on there, which led to them not losing a banner in the final one. So not great. Oh, yeah. And then we had Poggle B2 and Droideka was the other one. We're only going to have these 2 data points. But that's fine. It was in our back row, so it's going to be somewhere down here. Here we go. 1 banner. And one banner. So not a very strong option, but like here, he still had CLS left. He still had Darth Revan left at the bottom of his roster. He still had Jedi Knight Revan. He still had clones with a Rex lead. He still had a lot of stuff left over. I did not set a strong enough defense for this guy. Now, it was strong enough in the sense of this one team holding, and that allowed me to win on efficiency. But we can get the rest of these teams strong enough in conjunction with that team, maybe, to see how it goes forward. So out of these, I would say this one is obviously the most effective out of all of these. GG doesn't seem to matter either way as far as these go. But then we liked what we saw here as well. So I'm kind of liking this. Ooh, but look at that. So both of our GGs have used either Watt or B1. So can we put a Grievous team together that doesn't use those 2? So what we might want to try next is to see if this does anything. This might be the team that I'm trying out this time around. If we can just get similar banners to these, because I mean, you saw here, like even throwing in Watt, there's a 1 banner, and a 1 banner here as well. So if we can get between 1 and 5 banners with this team, but including these 2 powerhouses from both rounds, that's already a step above where we were before. So this will be where I start my defense going forward. Let's go ahead and, I'm just going to go ahead and end stream here. We don't seem to have just a whole lot of people hanging out with us. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I hope you come back and visit me next time. So we've got the starts of a plan. I'll, of course, record myself placing my defense again, so that at the end of this next bracket, we'll have even more data points. We'll see how consistent these 2 teams can be, and we'll see if this can at least hold up to what we've done in the past. We know that we know that Darth Revan holds well on defense. We now know that Darth Revan can take a gas team, which is nice to know in 3v3. If we can get better on offense to afford putting Darth Revan on defense every time we go up against somebody who's slower than us, that could be a huge win on our part. That'll free up a lot of resources. We also know some teams that we're not going to ever place on defense again. This team and this team, we'll have to see if we can do anything new with Dooku. One thing that you don't see down here right now are the bugs. bugs. We can figure out something with them. I'm sure maybe put Dooku in with them. Well, no, but because you're going to want to do Traya, and Traya is going to remove the stun and the shock anyways. So I don't know that that's really the play. It might just be putting in GBA Spy and Sunfac. Might be what I try next. Just pure bugs. Yeah, just going pure bugs. If it's going to get 3 banners against Traya with any combination, then might as well use Watt where he's better. Use Droidica with GG if this will do good stuff, because then that frees up Watt for here, that frees up B1 for here, and I think that can make a strong future. So thanks for hanging with me. Hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be doing another offense tomorrow. So we'll be doing our battles, see if we can recover, get another full clear, do better than we did last time. So thanks for hanging with me. I appreciate your support. Feel free to follow me here, turn on notifications, come hang out with me. You can follow me on Twitter, turn notifications on there. I always tweet out when I go live. You can also follow me on YouTube. I upload all of my Star Wars content from Twitch to YouTube. I always upload it and schedule it to go live my time, 4 p.m. the following day, which is always when the round ends. So wherever you're at, when the round ends, that's when you can go to my YouTube channel and see all the latest videos. So thanks for hanging with me. It was fun. And bye now.